Tuning in to another episode of the Girl Dad Show. It is the 2024 episode and closing us out here and getting us ready for 2025. I have been doing this show for 4 years now, and I can't even believe I'm saying that out loud. And it is pretty amazing to think about doing something like this for this long, which is super funny to me because I never thought in my wildest dreams that I would be a host of a show or a content creator this regularly and consistently. Do I think that I'm successful at it? Not really, but I do think that I have been successful at staying consistent and riding through all the hardships that go with creating content. But that is not what today's episode is about. Today is really another Girl Dad Talk where I share with you my updates and give you stories of my insights that I'm learning along my parenting journey. I'm your girl dad, and I interview successful people that are societally successful that are also successfully raising kids. And I question them on their ethics and values and integrity and what they do for a living and how they think about building business while they build family. And it's been an interesting journey, right? Getting to learn from these really incredible people and understand different perspectives and values and really understanding how to be a good parent, but also a really good contributor to your professional life in community and society. And so it's been a really fun journey for me, and I definitely enjoy it quite a bit. And today is really special because we're going to be talking about New Year's resolutions. And for me, it's really important to do this every year, and I've been doing this for close to 10 years now, and it's just one of my favorite things to do. And I'll share a guide that I use for like personal goal setting and resolution building with the post of this, or I'll link it in the bio. And if you need it, and I forget to post it, just message me on social media or find it on our website because we have it downloadable on there as well too. But I like to take a moment, every month and every quarter and every year to kind of reflect on my life and journey. And these reflection points allow me to be very thoughtful and strategic while also not clouding my mind with all the minutia of stuff in the day to day. So it allows me to really hunker in and focus in on what I'm working on and be more present in the moment. And having these like timed cadences to look at things retroactively has been really game changing for me. And so it's something that I highly recommend everyone do at least once a year. But if you want to get as crazy as me, you can do it more often. But I actually track every hour that I live. And it sounds really silly, but it's a really great tool that I have that I have done successfully. And there's a ton of tools that you can do this with, but I use Clockify, and I basically color code my time based on which clients I'm working on, based on if it's on health or family or sleep or um, building new businesses or whatever that may be. And I try to track all my hours. And what I do is on a monthly basis, I try to look at it and try my best to quantify and qualify how I'm feeling about it emotionally, mentally, and physically about my life and the goals that I have. And then I take a look at my inputs of time and see how I've allocated my time correctly and or incorrectly. And I make some theses and I make adjustments in my time and schedule. And I try to go to the next month with that kind of mindset of controlling my inputs to see if my outputs change. And for me, it completely changes things. And where I spend my time and who I spend it with impacts so much of my ability to achieve my goals. And so it's something that I really find very powerful and useful is this concept of checking in with yourself and really taking some time to analyze both quantitatively and qualitatively how you feel. How do you feel towards your goals? Has your goals changed? And if they haven't changed, what are you doing to achieve those goals? And how are you matching the necessary inputs to the outputs? And so it's this whole cascading system that I have. But the annual reflection is really a time for me to be super strategic and really, really wholesome about my life and who I am. And it is centered really around a SWOT analysis. Like what do I want to do? What am I good at? What am I good at now versus even last year? Did I learn new skills? Did I find new passions or hobbies? Finding my weaknesses and then finding opportunities where I didn't realize before I started the year that there are things that I could do that could be more time value for my time. And then also threats, like what's threatening me for my goals and what's competing against my priorities. And I do that, and I try really, really hard to leverage my strengths to tackle opportunities, and really think through how I could leverage that and do that. And then I couple that with just an open mind, a nice cup of coffee on a Sunday morning, and kind of reflect about, what went well and what didn't go well, what I liked, what I didn't like, and who was really impactful for me and who wasn't. And and then I try to basically build a really good set of goals that I want to achieve. And most of the times they're not even about like working on things that you suck at, or like for example my health. I like this year I'd love to be healthier this coming year, and it's because I suck at it, right? So it's not typical to pick things like that for me. It's more aspirational, but it can go either ways, right? It's really around like, when you think back to the end of 2025, what are the 2 or 3 things that you'd love to be able to say clearly and emphatically that you achieved or did? And you can kind of hallmark 2025 as the year that you did that, right? And so if you think about it in that kind of description, you can really start to articulate very clearly what your goals are and what you want. And then you just start working backwards from there and building it into a plan that you can start to digest, all the way down to daily, weekly, and monthly tactics and inputs, essentially. And that's the concept behind it. And that's really why I do it every year. And it's so important and valuable for me. And I learned this concept from business, actually. And so this whole concept of doing this for my personal life came from the idea of like, we do this in business and it works. And it's so good at helping businesses scale and synthesizing goals and getting alignment and being very clear about objectives and helping, people um, get focused. And it's just like, why wouldn't I take this much care and focus on myself and treat myself better than I treat a business? And so, anyways, that's kind of how it started. And so today is really just about me sharing with you a little bit of my goals. I haven't really done the full exercise yet, so it's a little bit um, cart before the horse to record this, but I have to record it before you listen to it. So unfortunately, you're gonna get the rough draft version of what I will eventually do as we get closer to New Year's. But as of right now, some of the things that I really, really kind of point to and kind of socializing in my brain is that I'm really proud of, the amount of things that I've learned this year. There are incredible amount of skills that I've learned, like as it relates to negotiation, salesmanship, as it relates to reading the market, and understanding how, different economical dynamics work. I'm not saying I'm a pro or anything, but I do feel like I have leveled up quite a bit this year, and I have a much better understanding of the world and finances. And I also feel like I've learned a lot about my role and my skill set and what people actually need in different areas. And so I feel like there's a lot of things that I've learned, not just from the macro sense, but also tactically. Like I've learned a ton about different industries. Like I'm really excited that I found the franchising industry. It's a really interesting space, and I'm really fascinated by it, and I'm really excited to learn more about it because there's something really interesting there that I just need to unpack and figure out. But I definitely will have that in my goal next year to really pivot my focus there, because I feel like I have some unfair advantages that will help me be more successful there. And I just need to keep thinking about what it is and learning more about it and really diving into it. But that'll be something that I'm really focused on next year. And it came from learning a lot about it this year and putting myself in really interesting situations and expanding my network and my exposure to different types of business models. And that's been really fun. I will say that I'm not really too happy with myself on the health and family side. I feel like it's been a really tough year for business, and I've had to make a lot of sacrifices to work extra hard or extra long to make money this year. It's been a really tough year. And I do feel like looking back at it, I could have done a better job of, reducing cost, possibly even letting people go. And, obviously you can go down these rabbit holes for days and I try not to do that because, you know, there's I do a cursory look at things and I talk about it objectively, but I don't try to go down, two or three levels into what could have happened or what ifs, because it just puts you in a dark place. And, obviously you want to acknowledge the mistakes that you made and understand like the different decisions that you could make next time it happens. But the reality is like you have to stay hopeful and optimistic and stay true to yourself, because what I like to say, and although um, it's not something that is as pervasive in my life yet, because I don't think I'm at the point where I can truly say this, but I do say it a lot and I do believe it in my core, and I know that it will come true eventually. But I always say, you can always make more money, but people are forever. And so how do you go through these moments in business where push comes to shove and you do the right thing for people, and and obviously you have to do that with temperament, right? Because if the business doesn't exist, then you can't do anything for the people. And so it's a little bit conflated and contradictory in some ways too, depending on the situation. But it's something that I believe in, and I don't exactly know how to execute out into my business world, but it's a mantra and a idea that I hold in my heart. And so I try not to fester too much on decisions I could have made or didn't make. But I did have a hard time with business, and that led me to not being very healthy. And so over the last month or two, I have started to cold plunge again, and I also got a little sauna on Black Friday on one of these little steam sauna things, and it's been really good. It's been really, really good, and I've been doing much better about working out once or twice a week and trying to go on walks, walking meetings, and I do feel a little bit better already. And I really feel like the biggest thing that I want to work on next year is finding more qualitative time with my kids. I also feel like not only did my health take a downturn, I also feel like I spent less time with them. And then the time that I did spend, it wasn't as qualitative as I wanted. And so, really hoping to figure out like, and that doesn't have to be, I feel like I spent plenty of time with them and I did a good job in a lot of senses, right? Attended a lot of their stuff and played and hung out. But for me, I want to experience things with them, especially during this age that they're at. We are trying to well, everyone's doing a really good job, and they're all growing up and they're having a ton of fun, and my wife's doing a really great job with the kids, and they seem really happy, and my wife says they're happy and I'm doing fine. But I really want to make sure that I allocate some time to do a big trip. I want to experience something new with them and try to explore that. But um, I need to make money to do it, so that's the other catch. But I do feel like things are going to start coming back next year, and it should be a lot better. But that's kind of where I'm at, and that's kind of what I'm thinking about. So, in summation, I'm really thinking about finding something landmark to do with my family and kids, and then I'm thinking about trying to find time with myself to be a little healthier physically, and then really trying to figure out ways to double down my efforts into the franchising industry and space for work. And then lastly, just like kind of more on a strategic and business and professional level, I'm really trying to think about ways to be less of a operator and transition from being the doer and the one that builds all these businesses to actually leveraging my skills and systems to teach more people the systems that I have built, and have them operate it and then level them up to operate for me, so that I could be more of a visionary role and more of a strategist than a doer. And it's been really tricky for me because I think that a lot of the businesses aren't there yet, other businesses that I've been building, but I do need to double down on figuring out how to help them get to that point, because my time is not being maximized because I've built too many things. So it's one of those things that I do need to figure out, and I am thinking a lot about. Well, so hopefully this was helpful on your journey. My one little insight and message to you is please, please, please take the time to do New Year's resolutions. And I don't really call them resolutions. I actually call them goals. So think about doing 2025 goals for yourself. And it's really helpful to check in, right? Check in with yourself. And especially as a dad, you want to not only protect and guide and nurture your family, but you also want to be able to represent the type of human you want your kids to be like. And it's super important that they see you um, at your best. and that requires you to do the deep work to figure out what your best is, because they're watching. They're watching, and they'll become like you or learn from watching you much more than anything you'll ever say to them. So, highly recommend doing it as a parent. And then, yeah, hopefully this helps you along on your journey. And thank you so much for staying on this journey and being with me through the Girl Dad Show's adventures. I'm excited to wrap up season 4 and take a break because content is hard. And who knows, we may be ending it at season 4, or we'll continue on this journey. I'm not entirely sure where we'll go with this thing, but I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what you like and don't like about the show. And as always, if you have a chance, please, please, please give us a 5-star review. It helps us a lot more than you realize. And me and my team will thank you so much for the support. It takes a lot of work to put these things on, a lot more than I ever expected. And those reviews help out a lot. Thank you so much, and Happy New Year's. Let's get after 2025. Bye, y'all.